Hi, guys, it's Granny, and we have good news today. We have a verdict. We will get into that in just a minute. All right, so good news. We have the verdict. So, what we're going to do is we're going to watch it together, okay? Um, I have it, I believe we're watching from East Idaho News from Nate Eden's stream. We're going to watch it from there. We'll talk about it a little bit. Watch Lori's reaction. Um, and then we've got a little bit of kind of a celebration afterwards with Kay and Larry Woodcock that we'll share and talk about. Okay. So let's share my screen. And let's see, we're going to do this one. Share. And okay. So that looks good. All right, here we go, guys.
From the jury, has the jury reached a verdict?
Yeah.
Very well. If you have the verdict form, I'd ask the bailiff bring that over here and we'll have it brought to the clerk to be read. All right, the court has reviewed the verdict form, find that it's been properly completed, signed and dated. So at this time, I'll direct the clerk to please read the verdict into the record. The defendant would please rise.
In the District Court of the 7th Judicial District of the State of Idaho in and for the County of Fremont, State of Idaho plaintiff versus Lori Vallow, aka Lori Daybell, defendant, case number CR 22211624. Verdict. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn to try the above entitled action for our verdict, unanimously answer the questions submitted to us as follows. Question number 1. In regards to count 1 of the amended indictment, is Lori Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan and grand theft by deception? Answer, guilty. Question number 2.
Yes.
In regards to count 2 of the amended indictment, is Lori Vallow not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan? Answer, guilty.
Yes.
Question number 3. In regards to count 3 of the amended indictment, is Lori Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow and grand theft by deception? Answer, guilty.
Yes. Justice for JJ.
Question number 4. In regards to count 4, the amended indictment, is Lori Vallow not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow? Answer, guilty. Question number 5. In regards to count 5 of the amended indictment, is Lori Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tammy Daybell? Answer, guilty. Question number 6. In regards to count 7 of the amended indictment, Is Lori Vallow not guilty or guilty of grand theft? Answer, guilty. Dated this 12th day of May, 2023, signed by the presiding officer.
All right, please be seated. Madam Clerk, thank you for reading the verdict into the record. At this time, let me just inquire of the jury, is this in fact your true and correct verdict?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Let me ask now from counsel, does the state wish to have the jury polled?
We do not, Your Honor.
Does the defense wish to have the jury polled?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, the jury will be polled at this time. Madam Clerk, if you would please indicate only by juror numbers of each of the jurors if this is their true and correct verdict individually.
Juror number 4, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 5, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 6, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 8, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 9, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 10, is this your true and correct verdict?
I can't help it, guys. Watching Lori right there sits back and I bet she's, we can't see her face too well, but I'll bet she's sitting back there just shooting darts at each juror that's polled. Does she think they're dark? I couldn't help it. I had to do it.
Yes.
Juror number 11, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 12, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 13, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 14, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 15, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 16, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. The court does find it's a unanimous verdict in this case, so I will direct the clerk to record the verdict into the record of this case. I'll now have a closing jury instruction for our jurors and also those alternate jurors that are in attendance today. You have now completed your duties as jurors in this case and are discharged with the sincere thanks of this court. The question may arise as to whether you may discuss this case with the attorneys or with anyone else. For your guidance, the court instructs you that whether you talk to the attorneys or to anyone else is entirely your own decision. It is proper for you to discuss this case if you want to, but you are not required to do so, and you may choose not to discuss the case with anyone at all. If you choose to talk to someone about the case, you may tell them as much or little as you like about your deliberations or the facts that influenced your decision. If you decide to discuss the case with anyone, you should be careful to respect the privacy and feelings of your fellow jurors. You should limit your comments to your own perceptions and feelings. If anyone persists in discussing the case over your objections or becomes critical of your service either before or after any discussion has begun, please report that to me. At this time, then, the court offers its sincere thanks to the jurors. I appreciate your patience and attentiveness throughout this lengthy trial. I also thank you again for upholding your important civic duty as jurors in this case. I'd also like to thank the attorneys who tried this case for your professionalism throughout the proceedings and in the pretrial motions that came before trial. At this time, then, the court will discuss briefly sentencing in this case. In Idaho, pursuant to Title 19, Chapter 25, a report is required to be prepared before sentencing called a pre-sentence investigation report. In a typical case, that report takes at least 2 months to prepare. In a case such as this, it will likely take longer. The court will inquire as to a pre-sentence investigator for the time frame required to prepare the report in this case. Upon getting an estimation, then the court will reach out to counsel for determining a date for sentencing. I'll just advise everyone that will likely be, I'm thinking, at least 3 months probably before that sentencing can be scheduled to have the report completed. The court will also advise at this time then, upon conclusion of the proceedings, the defendant will be remanded back to custody of the Ada County Sheriff at this time to be transferred to the Fremont County Sheriff for further proceedings in Fremont County for sentencing. The court will also instruct the clerk to collect any of the jurors' notes pursuant to Idaho Criminal Rule 24.1A. At this time, then, the court will ask that the jurors and any alternates in attendance be excused from the courtroom. And I am going to direct that all in attendance here remain seated until such time as the jurors have been completely exited from the courtroom. And in addition, I'll let the jurors know there is additional information you'll be receiving through the court administration offices on your way out as you leave today. So again, thank you for your service. Court will be adjourned. And Mr. Bailiff, if you could have all rise for your jury.
All right, please.
Look at Lori here. I so wish I could zoom in on her face.
All right, thank you, counsel. Thank you, everyone, for your decorum this afternoon.
All right. So yes, I'm happy. I was worried. I think I told you guys that I was worried. I was a little worried that the conspiracy, that there would be enough evidence to convict. A little bit later, I had heard, I think, about an email between Lori and Alex. They were talking about the children, changing the Wi-Fi, too many kids, and then Lori stating something to the effect that we're trying to figure out when they'll get taken care of. So that's pretty much damning evidence, I would think. But I'm so glad. Those jurors did not have an easy job sitting there for 6 weeks, day in and day out. I don't know if any of you have ever been on a jury for even more than one day. I was for about a week. It was a case where a woman had a surgery for her back. And this woman was a minister's wife who was the worship leader in their church. So her voice was important to her. Well, to do this surgery for her back, they had to pull her vocal cords over and clip them so that they could get in there with the instruments to do whatever they needed to do for her back on her spine. And then they'll move them back. But there is, like for any surgery, you have a paper to sign, and they go over any complications that could result from the surgery. And one of those with that type of surgery is that when they're moving the vocal cords like that, there could be temporary damage, or there could even be permanent damage. Okay. And you have to sign that paper. Okay. So she signed that paper. They showed the paper. They showed it up on a big screen. They asked her, "Is that your signature?" Yes, it was her signature. They brought up people who said her voice is not the same anymore. She can't hit the notes she used to hit. She gets squeaky. She can't, on and on it goes. And they asked her about that piece of paper that she signed, the release. And she stated that she was never told that, but it's right on the paper. It's right on the paper. So either she didn't read the paper, but here's the kicker, guys. This woman was also an RN who worked in the hospital. slam dunk, right? Okay, but I say all that to say that every day in that court, you're listening so intently. I was getting headaches from just really, listening intently to everything that was being said. And you don't, as a juror, you don't want to miss anything, because you don't want to miss the important points. But it's really funny this many years later, what do I remember? The piece of paper that was the most important piece to find her guilty in that trial. I really don't remember too much else. Okay. So it is kind of funny how, as a juror, you will focus in on the facts that will bring you to a conclusion. You do have jurors in there who feel sorry, who might not be convinced. We had one in ours. And all you can do is just keep going over the evidence until you can be unanimous, or going over and over and over it until you get hung jury. And I was honestly talking about this trial earlier in the day, and I said to my coworker, I said, I really hope that they don't come back with not guilty, but that it's either not guilty or a hung jury. Not that you want to see either one really, but at least if it was a hung jury, you could go back and try her again. But they came back. And why is that? You saw her at this, she was shooting daggers at those jurors. That's uncalled for. Uncalled for. And I mean, I couldn't help, and maybe it wasn't right, but I couldn't help saying, she thinking in their head, you're dark 4, you're dark 7, you're dark 10. There's, I do think that she really believed this stuff, but I also feel like back in her mind somewhere, she wanted this fantasy, and Chad made that fantasy for her of a woman who, the goddess, a woman who's just loved so much. And I think she fell for that hook, line, and sinker, and so she was going to believe it all. And they were saying that in the closing arguments, how her lawyers threw Chad under the bus, and she was crying afterwards and looked like she was upset with her lawyers. I don't think that she knew that they were going to do that, or at least maybe she told them she didn't want them to do that, and they did it anyway. They really didn't. I don't know. I don't know why they didn't bring on expert witnesses or something to maybe rebut, what the prosecution laid out there, but they didn't. So what's going to be interesting now is Chad's trial. Will it go to trial? Will he and his lawyer take a plea deal? What's going to happen? But right now it is time for celebration. And like I said, after the verdict was given, Larry and Kay Woodcock were outside. And I want you to hear that, celebrate with them a little bit. So I'll share my screen again and let's go right there. Okay.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. For one time in my life, I'm kind of lost at words, believe that or not. Look, first of all, I want to thank 18 jurors. I cannot thank them enough. I'm sure everybody has paid attention in court. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sure everyone has paid attention in court. I want to personally thank and I want to personally hug every one of those jurors. What they went through, what they saw is mind-boggling. I hope that nobody ever has to go through this. I hope nobody ever has to see and hear the details of what happened to JJ, to Tylee, and to Tammy. Guys, we got 2 more trials. 2 more.
3. Charles, Chad, and Brandon.
Oh, okay. I'm
I
sorry.
mean,
Well,
Charles
okay.
is in
Yeah.
Arizona. Brandon's in Arizona.
The next trial is Chad. I look forward to being back in this courthouse again if that happens. I hope everybody is here again. I hope that y'all appreciate so much the court system, how meticulous the prosecution was. I think everybody will agree it was amazing job by all of them. And I want y'all to know that even the defense, I shook their hands. I have said many times, I want a fair, honest, and righteous decision. I think we had 18 jurors that all deserve our appreciation, our love, and they gave an honest, fair, and righteous verdict.
You guys really embraced each other in there at the reading of the verdict. What did you say to each other in that moment?
I love you. What else can you say?
Larry, what was it like walking out, seeing all the law enforcement officers in the hallway?
Do I?
What was it like walking out, seeing all of the law enforcement officers who have spent countless hours in
Oh,
the hallway?
I know. We would be
And-
nowhere without them.
You know, as much as I have said up here about the prosecution, the defense, the jurors, Nate, you made an absolute great statement. We have to appreciate, support our law enforcement officials. Those guys sacrificed from their families, from their homes. We will never know the countless hours that they have put in, how much sacrifice they have gone through. And most of all, what they have seen in this case that maybe some people will never unsee. I love them. I appreciate them. There's not one of these guys I wouldn't go in a dark alley with. I cannot thank them enough. Next question.
Larry, what is your final message to Lori Vallow?
I love this.
My final message to Lori. Y'all ready? Turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all Good things must end. Lori, it ended.
Hey, what about you? How you like Kay thinks about the tell us what it was like? Her thoughts?
Can I have a
You,
minute?
yeah.
We are elated with this. There was some doubt we would get all of them, all guilties, but we did it. The prosecution is amazing. The law enforcement is amazing. They became our family, and we're keeping most of them for the rest of our life as family. And even you news people, we've made great friends with you guys. And journalists. Oh, news journalists. Anyway, it's great. Our JJ now, maybe we can get him and put him to rest, as well as Kylie, and do right by them, and we'll see how that works. But anyway, we're so grateful, and we thank all of y'all for your support, and we would never be here without y'all. And so many people have reached out to us, and I mean, I have to tell y'all, we even got a message from someone in Tasmania that is following this case. So it's all over the world, and we appreciate all of you, and thank you, and God bless America, because we're grateful we live here. Thank you. Anybody there?
Love always wins.
Yeah, you can have phone
Hey.
call. Love always wins.
Love always wins. How many times we heard that? I do have one other statement I'd like to make, believe it or not. I do. I forgot one of the most important things. Ray, what would I do without you? Woo! I have one more statement.
Really?
JJ, I love you. Papa, wish you were here in other circumstances. Kylie, Papa loves you. Tammy, I never met you. Tammy,
Wow.
you are part of our life. Tammy, I am sorry for what happened to you. My heart hurts. My heart hurts for these three. This is what this has been all about from the very get-go. It started with 2 children missing. And I stood up and I said, where are the children? Where are the children? Where are the children? Give us back our children. We're not ending this. This is not the end of this. 90 days from today, we will probably meet in Fremont County. The sentence will be handed down. And I'm going to say right now what I'm going to say in 3 months. Why, Lori? Why, Lori? Why?
Power, sex, and greed.
Power, sex, and greed. For what? For what? Power, sex, and greed. That's all it was. And JJ, Papa misses you. I miss you.
Maybe we can take them home.
Okay, I have one more
Thank
question
you.
for you, Kay. You just talked
Okay,
about the mix
yeah.
of the
Get somebody in that's pretty.
Look, here, real quick.
They got the bitch.
My brother Jerry.
That's all I got to say about it. Jerry is very bashful. He doesn't talk much, but he talks a lot.
So you talk about the mixed emotions you guys have to be feeling today. There's a reason to celebrate, but also
Absolutely, yeah. It's the most bittersweet you can imagine. Just the sadness, but the relief from all this is I guess a liberating feeling. It just freeing for us. Um, I do believe since it's Mother's Day weekend, the Friday before, and I do believe that the verdicts
awesome.
today are just what I think everything aligned in the universe, and this is what you call poetic justice, and that is a big deal, big deal.
okay, as you sat there and the verdict was coming in, did you have a gut feeling in your heart that all counts would be found guilty on Lori?
That's what we were praying for, Justin, but I can't explain the knots that my stomach was in, and just I barely could breathe, but okay, I know it's going to be okay because our Lord is going to take care of us, and He has seen to it that He's taking care of those kids and Tammy too with this verdict today.
What would you like to hear that word guilty?
The first one, I wasn't quite sure. The second one, I was like, okay, now maybe we can get some more. And they kept coming and coming and coming. And it was if there was just three, it would be the trifecta. I don't know what this is.
What if Chad Daybell wants to take a plea agreement?
You guys, that's the prosecution team walking out of the courtroom right now and behind them.
You guys be on board at this point?
Life without parole.
It depends on what the agreement is, but absolutely.
Life without parole?
Yeah. 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 Oh, there's our law enforcement guy.
That's the daddies over there.
I think you need to go. Okay. Thank y'all.
I want to get a.
Okay. We're going to break it there. They did kind of follow after those guys. But the prosecution has stated that they wouldn't be giving a statement. They'll do a written statement, but they still have Chad's trial to go through. So they want to be careful about what they're saying. And it was quite a big prosecution team there. They followed him all the way down the block. Nate did run after them, and he got a couple of them to say something, So it was kind of funny, just about, we're going to go party now or something like that. It was nothing huge, but it was fun. Larry, his one of the things that I didn't show you was when he was walking out of the courtroom, the crowd started singing, we will rock you." It's supposedly JJ's favorite song. Sorry, guys, I know I'm not a great singer. And Larry had walked in with his iPad playing that today, kind of set the tone for the trial, for the deliberations going on. And he told the media that song was one of JJ's favorite songs. So when he came walking out, everybody was singing it. And so then he joined them. And that was just kind of a fun thing. I really, it touched my heart to hear Larry talk about JJ and Tylee, and even kind of say something to Tammy. And I thought that was very sweet. That's a person with a good heart. And he mentioned that his heart hurt for her, for what happened to her. And So not only is he grieving the loss of his grandson, and granddaughter, he looked at Tylee the same, even though she wasn't, you know, um, but he looked at her as though she was, and maybe didn't spend as much time with her as he had JJ, but he still felt that about her, that she was his granddaughter. And so I can't even, it was Kay and Larry Woodcock that got the whole ball rolling. It's like he said, this all started with, where are the children, right? And then it opened up this whole big can of worms, didn't it? Where, oh, so the kids are gone. Tammy dies. Wait a minute. Tammy's getting exhumed. And now that's murder. And they're going to look at Charles. And evidently, and I didn't realize this, but you could hear Kay saying it today, that there's a trial about Brandon Boudreaux being shot at. So, my goodness, so just a lot going, there was so many nuances to this case. It just went everywhere. And I remember when I first started following it, I did it because I was watching true crime. I was wanting to make my videos, and I was like, okay, which cases do I need to pick? And it seemed like this trial was really getting a lot of attention from the people that I watch. And so I'm like, okay. And when I first started following it, I'm like, what? Wait a minute, what happened? And because, you clue into one video and you're getting that string, but you get bits and pieces that are shooting off this way and this way. And it's like, okay, now I need to go follow this one. And oh, wait, yeah, there's that one. And, until you can have the whole story. And I think the prosecutors did a really good job of laying it out to the jury systematically, because it's not an easy story to tell. It's heartbreaking. But today there was justice for JJ, Tylee, and Tammy. And I thank the Lord for that. Just as the rest of the people that were there, yes, celebrating. We're not celebrating the deaths of JJ, Tylee, and Tammy. We're celebrating that justice was done today. Yes, a woman is being put in prison probably for the rest of her life. Sentencing isn't going to be for about 3 months. You heard the judge say that. Will she appeal? Probably. But the odds of anything being overturned in appeal are very slim to none. I think when during the trial for Depp and Heard, they were saying like 1% of appeals actually get reversed. So it's a very, very low number, very low number. So odds of that happening are slim to none. Could it happen? Absolutely, it could. They didn't say anything, but I mean, they have time to figure that out. But I'm happy. I'm happy with the verdict. I was concerned. I'm not going to lie about that. I was concerned, but I think that overall, it was the right thing. Is she the one that actually unalived them? No, probably not. But she knew about them. She knew, she conspired. She knew about them. And we can actually say that today. After that verdict came in, she knew. She conspired to kill her own son and her own daughter. So we've still got more to go. It's like Larry said, we've got Chad's trial. Don't know if there's going to be a trial. I believe it was set for August, the preliminary hearing. You've got to wonder with Chad's lawyer, is it John Pryor? Is that the name? That he has been at the courthouse a lot, almost every day, from what I've heard, to keep an eye on what was going on, to see what evidence the prosecution was bringing against Lori, because they're going to do the same against Chad, right? So he's got to talk to Chad, and they're going to have a serious conversation, I'm sure, as far as which way to go now. Plea agreement? I don't know. And then it'll be Chad sentencing. And then we have Lori Vallow goes on trial for Charles Vallow's death. Yeah. They're looking back into that too. So she'll stand trial for that one. And Charles Vallow is Kay Woodcock's brother, to give you an idea of how this all fits together. So Kay and Larry Woodcock will be at that trial as well as Chad's. And then the Brandon Boudreaux, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's because of the attempted shooting at him, which I don't know how that would work, or if they're just talking about the custody trial for his children, Melanie. I don't know. Because if you guys remember, they talked about in those texts, I believe, or maybe on the light dark papers that they had, that her children were on there as being dark. I think, Kay and Larry Woodcock actually saved those children without even realizing it, because who knows what might have happened. But we have good news tonight. We can rest in that. We can be happy for Kay and for Larry. Take a little breather on this story for a while, because it is a story, and it's going to be the same story with Chad, and we'll see where that goes. But in the meantime, we've got other stories that we're into, right? So we will see you on the next one. Bye, guys. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at granniescrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.